welcome. So before I even start on Junk Journal July embellishments day number 11, I have to tell you I'm so excited about this. I've already made a few of these and I have thoroughly loved it. So I'm sat watching Marvel films and I'm going to make some more. You'll need some coffee dyed paper, some index cards, and you'll need your scraps. So I'm just going to demonstrate with this piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my paper bag. So I'm going to fold it over to what will be the back side, and if I overlap them just a little bit, it ends up being a little bit too wide for the page. So I'm going to pull it in a little bit further and crease, and then fold that one over and overlap it quite a bit, and that's sort of quite a decent size width. Again, I'm not measuring, and then I'm going to fold up the bottom edge. Okay, open it back out, cut off that bottom left hand side rectangle to that first fold and taper that side and cut off that bottom right hand side rectangle. And in fact I can keep these and use these for what I'm going to be making in a minute. Alright, so fold that in, I want that one on top. So I'm going to place some glue down there, right along that edge, and then place some glue on the back side of that bit. Fold the two over so that they will stick together, and then place glue on that bottom section down there. And fold that over. And then I'm going to use my rounded pinking shears to just cut off the top. So now it looks like a paper bag. Part 2, I'm going to decorate the postcard, but first of all I need to create some shapes. So I'm cutting these up into squares and rectangles so I can create the patchwork effect. Now you can cut these out on your paper trimmer if you're not so steady on cutting it by hand. And I'm just cutting a variety of different shapes, but as I say, I'm keeping them square so there's no angled parts in there. And I want them thick, I want them thin. I want them small, I want them large. So as you can see, I've ended up with a variety of different shapes. The other thing that I wanted was a focal point, and I've got loads of these little tiny journaling cards. So I'm going to use one of those as my focal point. I can choose that in a minute. And I actually want this one to be portrait. So I want it that way around. So I could put that. So we're doing a patchwork style. And it doesn't matter if they overhang the edges, because we can trim those off. And you want some with text on as well, because that just adds to the interest of the background. So you could go there. And it's just a case of auditioning. I love that terminology. auditioning several of the pieces to make sure that it's all going to go together. Let me just rip that off a bit there. And all that's left is a little tiny bit there. So in fact, I could just cut off a thin strip. To go in there. I think I might add that green over here. Okay, and once you're happy with your layout, just pull them off. And then I'm going to use my Collal glue to just put it all over the index card. Now it doesn't have to be an index card. It could be a book page or a scrappy bit of card. Okay, you were going to go there. You were going to go next. And then you were going to go at the top. In fact, let's have you the other way on because I want to see that word cash. Okay. You were down the bottom down here. And you can see it comes together really quite quick. You can go there. You can go there. And if there's a slight bit of overlapping, I'm sure the crafting police won't mind. I need a bigger bit of green now. Okay. About there. You can go on there. And then I'm just going to let that dry, and then I can turn it over and trim off all the excess on the back. All the excess now trimmed off, and these little bits I'm going to keep because they're handy for filling in just little spaces. And then I've chosen my image, and I think I might put it just about there. So I'm going to heavily ink up the edge of this so that it really stands out, and put glue on the back. And then I'm going to heavily ink up all around the outer edge. Now my ink's coming out really dark because I've just added some extra ink to my ink pad. Right, so you can see now it really starts to stand out. So I've got my Stays On ink in Timber Brown, and I've got my Tim Holtz stamps out, and I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping. just finishes it off nicely. So I could just leave it at that and have it as a journaling card, you know, ink up the back and have that to be able to put in a pocket. But in this instance, I'm going to pop it on this paper bag, and I could leave it, you know, sort of with a pocket either on the top or on the side, but I'm just going to glue the whole thing down. Just have a pretty looking paper bag. So I'm going to put glue all over that. Stick it on the front. And then ink up the edge of a paper bag. So most of you know, if you've been watching all of these, is I'm kind of doing a little bit of prep work for autumn, for an autumn journal. With any of these videos that I've done, you could choose whatever, what's the word, sort of basis of what you want to create. So if you want to create something for spring of next year, for autumn, for winter, for Thanksgiving, for Halloween, for Christmas, you know, you can look at your papers and create any of these items that I've been making, but using the theme, that was the word I was looking for, but using the theme of your choice. So I'm going to show you the ones that I've done earlier, because that's it, done and dusted. So I created another paper bag and a sideways paper bag, so that this one opens up on the side, so I could actually do that as a flippy flappy pocket. I created that pocket using some darker coffee dyed paper, and I created another journaling card. So I've really got into doing these, and in fact I'm going to go off and go and do some more, not autumn ones, because I think I've got enough autumn ones now, but it gives you some ideas of what you can actually create with just scraps again, and a bit of coffee dyed paper. So I hope you're inspired to have a go at doing some of your own, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, see you soon, bye for now.